Sun Wukong, the unbreakable outer god who one-shot Prometheus, versus Chulainn, the demigod who one-shot Ra, the unstoppable supreme god of the Egyptian pantheon. These two will be fighting each other in the future of Ragnarok, and both wield insanely broken abilities, an aspect that will result in one of the most wild and unpredictable fights in the entire series. Today, you will learn everything about these monsters, so lock in and watch to the end. Chulainn won the first fight in this tournament and Wukong the second, meaning they will begin the face-offs for round 2 against one another. But let's start from the beginning. Ragnarok came to be with the gods voting on whether or not to destroy humanity, something that resulted in an overwhelming yes, preparing for their destruction, but was halted by the Valkyrie Brunhilde, who brought forth the Constitution of Valhalla, something the gods must follow, and outlines the Ragnarok tournament we know very well. But before that battle begins, Zeus needs to announce the gods fighting against the humans, that being a list of 12 that resulted in outrage from the gods not chosen. But before absolute chaos occurs, the mad lad Wukong points out that Ragnarok is supposed to be a 13 vs 13 tournament, noting that 12 gods have only been chosen thus far. Therefore, Zeus, as the supreme god of Valhalla, removes a certain ban, allowing fights between gods in the form of a different tournament, choosing the various fighters who desired to participate for the sake of finding the strongest, and the winner will be appointed in the final spot against humanity. This is Ragnarok, the Apocalypse of the Gods, an official side manga that is canon and makes clear that those participating could not be chosen for Ragnarok, as many of them are considered dangerous. They are outer gods who are called the Unstoppable, Untouchable, Unknown, Unbreakable, Unbalanced, Unfair, and much more to be revealed in the future. On top of that, the winner of this tournament gets the right to add a single provision, whatever it may be, to the Valhalla Constitution, an insane reward connected to the universal and absolute rule that even the gods follow across all of the realms. So boys, a 10% discount is available for all these GameStop flavors available for you. Check it out, link at the top of the description. Everything helps the channel greatly. So in regards to Chulainn, one of 2 Celtic gods introduced in Ragnarok, we see him during the initial announcement calling Zeus and the other well-known gods bastards. And what makes you think you're so important? Highlighting his disdain for the mainstream gods in control, but showing excitement upon being chosen for this tournament, and then interrupts Zeus and Ra, who were about to throw hands. Well, technically his dog did, but proceeds to disregard Ra as he has business with Zeus, saying to the chief god that if I win your seat, will you give it to me? Showcasing that he wants to be the ruler of the gods, and is what led to their matchup being chosen to begin this tournament, and the entire bracket being revealed as well. Furthermore, Zeus tells both of them, if you're going to talk big, you need to take responsibility for your words. You'll have to prove it first, the strength to spout such words. When you accomplish that, I will prepare a suitable reward. Meaning, once they've proved that they're the strongest within this tournament, Zeus will listen to them, which may imply that the winner will need to face Zeus at the end, or the winner's wish may connect to challenging the supreme god. As those of you have probably already noticed, the 13th god added to the original roster was indeed Zeus, who ended up fighting second in the tournament as well, but anything could be revealed in regards to the future of both manga. However, for now, let's have a look at Chulainn's insane victory over Ra, an opponent that was built up similar to the likes of Zeus, Odin and Shiva, a supreme god of an entire pantheon, but again different to all those in the sense that he's an outer god, an aspect I'll be explaining shortly. But as I go over their entire fight, just take note, Chulainn was able to defeat this person with one attack at the end, the aspect that truly highlights that this beast is overpowered while also providing implications that he has defeated the likes of Morrigan, a female god fighting in this tournament as well, with that very same attack some point in the past, which will likely be revealed shortly in the ongoing manga. But for the fight, we literally have Ra introduce himself as the god of the sun, who is truly the god of gods. The true pinnacle of gods is me. Absolutely wild, and does provide the whole king of gods aspect once again. And him actually raging out as Chulainn is introduced as a demigod, something he would naturally feel superiority over by default. However, he is also considered a warrior god and a berserker on top of that, something to remember when moving forward. But compared to Ra and many others, he is a low-ranking god, meaning he lacks clout within Valhalla, but still has his origins somewhat explored, outlined as a fellow outer god and recognized as the Unrule officially, and claims that he doesn't care about either gods or humans, just doing anything the way he wants, wanting to prove that he is indeed the strongest, but right away faces a huge wall. Ra is highlighted as much stronger and faster than the demigod, alongside wielding an overpowered heat-based ability that right away is destroying Chulainn, halving his opponent's power and speed, and featuring such heat, Shiva is annoyed by it, who can literally do this, a showing during the early stages of the fight that already had people watching think the warrior had lost, but he was able to remain and shows a huge increase in speed that gets the likes of Zeus, Shiva and Wukong shocked, while Ra was able to counter with a kick, and Zeus noting that Chulainn's speed and power has been growing since the match begun, something that annoys Ra as it's taking too long, entering his godly transformation already, looking literally like Ra the Yu-Gi-Oh card at this point, and providing one of the biggest beatings in Record Ragnarok to this day, leaving the half-human like this, but still standing all things considered, and us learning the truth about Ra within this universe, that being how he became an outer god long ago when he used this transformation to attack and try and annihilate humanity alone. This was due to their arrogance, and naturally went against the Valhalla constitution, resulting in numerous gods from heaven fighting to eventually stop him, but a huge massacre occurred and Egypt was turned into a desert as well. Some crazy lore, and we see a similar thing occurring right now as Chulainn receives even more of a beating, resulting in many gods to admire Ra's strength and count him as the victor without a doubt, apart from one, Morrigan, who is the sole fighter aware of this warrior's true ability. His divine weapon is shown helping him up as it happens. His new presence shocking Ra instantly. An insane amount of divine energy is coming from Chulainn as he enters his transformation and prepares for an attack. One that within 5 seconds gives this demigod the victory over the supreme ruler. Connecting to a legend people know well about the demonic spear, the attack known as Gay Burke. An attack that required Ra to go maximum output for the sake of invading. However, Chulainn in this berserker transformation was faster than both the attack and Ra himself, landing in the air to prepare the expanding spear version of it, one that literally tracks the opponent, something that once released is impossible to evade or defend against, and is exactly what allowed this demigod to defeat Ra in one shot, something that took 5 seconds after receiving a beating, as you see here, for 15 minutes, highlighting his insane durability, all things considered as well, outside of the insanity of this attack, one of the most overpowered within all Record Ragnarok without a doubt. With it being highlighted that per se only top tier gods were able to see and understand the attack he just used on Ra, and we see Cuchulainn making fun and laughing at the gods, returning his weapon to himself, transforming into its original form as he takes his leave, getting everyone's attention as an unbelievable treasure has been found. Cuchulainn is a major threat within this tournament, particularly for Wukong, his next opponent in round 2. But we see after he leaves the arena, which by the way looks like this, he falls unconscious in an instant, meaning the insane 15-minute beating he took from Ra was actually quite severe. And the next time we see him, we learn that Prometheus took him to the medical room, the opponent of Sun Wukong, who is recognized as the first outer god within the Record of Ragnarok universe, bringing us to Wukong's section of today's video, something potentially even more wild than what I just went over for Cuchulainn. He was introduced as the overall favourite to win the tournament and representation of an outer god as he rebelled directly against the gods, in the sense that 100,000 heavenly soldiers failed to take away his freedom, resulting in the title Great Sage equal to heaven, and pure mad dad energy as he's just been shown bored or vibing prior to this, and even allows his opponent Prometheus to have the first attack, an insane combo that revealed his power and divine weapon, featuring such pain inflicted on his opponent it should be dangerous for any god, and instantly mind breaks most, something that also built up the Greek god's insane durability and pain tolerance, and him even claiming as Wukong begins to stand, no one should be able to withstand my attacks, leading to us learning about why the Monkey King is known as the Outer God Unbreakable, the first insight about his abilities, that being how he consumed 2 items that give immortality in the past, the peaches and golden pills, resulting in his unbreakable physique, and provided reason for him surviving the direct attacks from this god, proceeding to release his divine weapon that we actually saw at the start of the manga as well, and use 15% of his power, highlighting that this level of usage is actually respect for his opponent and the might he wields, where we learn that facing this staff requires one to overcome something that does not have the concept of striking range. Therefore, Wukong's attack lands and seemingly transports the god into a mysterious realm that results in an insane beating from various gods, buddhas and demons. This is 15% of the sage's power and leaves Prometheus like this, pure insanity, a situation where the other gods watching only saw a normal thrust and came to the conclusion that Wukong's attack was not simply speed or force, something beyond that, bringing us to the main reveal about his overpowered ability. So with his unbreakable body, he can tank blows and transform that energy into his own power, storing it, meaning all the power he's received and stored within his body, thousands of battles, and potentially even Prometheus's first attack can be unleashed, a crazy amount where 15% of it was considered overkill on his opponent here, and even having next level experience when it comes to fighting due to the journey of the West with the various victories and defeats Wukong had to face, and the road he succeeded in where he became equal to heaven. However, when it comes to overall strength, Zeus reveals that similar to Cuchulainn, Wukong is a lower ranking god, having not that much clout within the broader perspective of Valhalla, but with strength alone, he is among the highest rank in the heavens, pretty much 100% confirming his top tier status, and indeed acquired a one-shot victory where it took Prometheus an entire chapter just to stand with a destroyed divine weapon on top of that. But apart from all of this, we learn that Wukong views humans as irredeemable, meaning he's on the side of their destruction, but actually got impacted by Prometheus's words throughout the battle, remembering his past, resulting in him announcing to everyone that we will not be destroying mankind, humanity's extinction is cancelled, that being his wish once he wins the tournament. But now it's time to look at the next clash of these two warriors. So as I've broken down, both of them have an insane one-shot capability, alongside insane durability on top of that. However, the immortality aspect of Wukong likely gives a crazy advantage in that regard, but is something we need to learn more about. So a factor that may decide the entire fight is whether or not Wukong can survive Cuchulainn's spear, absorbing its power potentially into his own, where his victory would likely be ensured, as I doubt people believe Cuchulainn could survive a 100% power attack from Wukong if 15% was already this wild. So based on the abilities presented thus far, and the narrative as a fighter within this universe, Wukong should realistically be the winner. However, many have claimed that Cuchulainn is actually the protagonist of this side manga, due to the focus on him at the start and being on the front of all the promotional material. But currently that isn't officially confirmed in any way, and I would like to imagine there's still much more to be revealed about both in regards to their powers. I'm guessing most of you watching are waiting for Wukong's own transformation or something like that. Furthermore, it seems as though the demigod is someone who can continue to grow in power, particularly in his berserker state that needs much more revealed about it. Therefore, I think this fight could honestly go either way when it does happen in the future of the story, and will be absolutely wild. Two characters wielding the strongest attacks in Record of Ragnarok, and actually have insight about one another's abilities going into the battle, making this tournament much more unique compared to the main series for potential things and strategies that can occur throughout. But I do want Wukong to win to remove the protagonist bias aspect, but let me know your predictions down below. Now if you enjoyed today's video, check out this playlist with all the Record of Ragnarok content, and consider supporting like these absolute mad lads on screen right now. That's it guys, peace.